It's Trixie. Welcome to the underground. I'm doing this on a Saturday. I just got home from work. Look at my face. A lot happened. I just got to tell you. In case I die in the middle of the night, the way my day's going. I had to do a fair. Never did the fair before. So, yeah, last night, no problems. Today, heat stroke. I just didn't do anything till it was too late. The guy I worked with, my former manager, he's like, I gotta sit down. It's getting to me. And what was I going to do? I couldn't sit down because he was taking a break, so I had to pitch. And I didn't really know what was coming. I'm the type that keeps going till I drop to the ground. And I sat down and I said, man, I got a headache. And I knew I was dehydrated. So I drank water and I said, man, you got to get me something. He goes, I'll go to my car. And he goes, wait a minute. He goes across where the EMTs are. I swear, they came at me, surrounding me. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you going to do to me? I'm not kidding. They were just coming at me. We're going to pour water down your back. And boy, they did. All the way down, soaked to my underwear. I was like, are you crazy? And they go, we took one look at you and we knew you weren't okay. I'm still pitching. She goes, stay out of the sun. I didn't. I don't listen. I'm like, I'm working. What do you want me to do? If I'm dying, it's going to be while I'm working. So I was still pitching. I was okay after they poured the water on me and I was drinking and I took the Tylenol. Fine. Then the nurse came at me 10 minutes later. She's like, I'm just checking on you. And I go, thank you so much. Thank you for saving me because I would have been carted off in an ambulance in another couple minutes. Put my hand on her back and got stung by a bee. And I've never been stung by a bee. You know how if you're allergic, you die within 10 minutes if you don't get to the hospital? So she goes, well, she comes back 10 minutes later. She goes, you would have died by now if you were allergic. And she goes, go to first aid. I go to first aid. They wanted to give me Benadryl. I'm like, I'm going to get Alzheimer's. So they gave me Benadryl and I'm like, great, I'm going to fall asleep now. And it's still stinging. It's like swollen. I'll never get my ring off, but I didn't die. So that's a good thing. They put Benadryl on it. I read online, you're supposed to get the stinger out. I'm like, too late. It's already injecting me with venom. Thank God, I just wanted to do the show in case I die overnight. And, bad things happen in threes. All right. I just wanted to give you guys one last show. Okay. Here's the news. You know how I just pick and choose. I don't just talk about everything that's going on. I just pick what I want to talk about. The Minnesota Vikings football season. Here we go, preseason, but still, there's stuff going on. According to Fox, Minnesota Vikings have men cheerleaders. And of course, the conservatives are crazy. Timmy Tuberville, that lovely guy from Alabama, he's crazy. So this guy, Blaze Sheik and Louis Kahn, and I looked at one of these guys, and one of them looks like a woman. I wouldn't have known. Woman with a flat chest. I have no idea. And you know what? I don't care. I'm not this woke creature, but I'm not going to spend my time getting nervous about male cheerleaders. And they do have them anyway, by the way. Remember in college, they flip around? But, this isn't anything new. It's just that they're freaking out over that gender thing. And so I get why conservatives are mad. I understand it looks a little funny, but Timmy Tuberville, as he's saying on the hot mic on the podcast Outkicks or whatever, I don't know. Men are going to stop buying tickets if men are cheerleaders. I watch the game, so I don't really look at the cheerleaders too much unless they're in my face and you can't help but stare at the boobs. But I mean, I know you have the sexy cheerleaders because I don't think men want to stare at men unless they're gay men watching. Who knows? But talking about the blue states, he said it's all about socialism with 150 genders. Well, you know me, the way I think about that. He also said, I hope to God it doesn't come to Atlanta or Texas or Dallas. And I want to ask him if that's what keeps you up at night. I mean, you've got some big problems. Like, who gives a shit about male cheerleaders? I don't care. I don't care about that. As long as the game still plays, I don't even notice that stuff. But he's like, we're going to take the masculinity out of football. Didn't Trump say that about the way the kickoffs were? Because you can't touch anybody on a kickoff now. But, I don't think you're taking the masculinity out of football. I think you're taking the femininity out of cheerleading. You moron. I don't know. I just don't think this is such a big thing, but it's juicy for the conservatives. But this is not the first team to do this. The Rams were the first team to have a male cheerleader in 2018. The Ravens had males, not to be outdone, right? The Carolina Panthers had a transgender on their squad until this year. Why didn't MAGA freak out about that one? Transgender, that's where they're at. Mike Vrabel, the Patriots coach, wants to slash, people's tires who park in handicapped. I don't like that either. But, he kind of wants to wait for them to come out. And he says, why are you parking there? Like, yeah, because what if somebody really that can't walk? I don't like, I like you're lazy. Why can't you just park a little further? I always park far, who cares? But he looks for the placard like a predator waiting for someone, and he confronts them. I get it, because that's like a pet peeve of mine too. You don't want to see people and they're usually young. Like, why are you too lazy to walk? When my Commanders played the Patriots in the first preseason game, which they've looked horrible in preseason, except Jaden Daniels, of course, he looks good still. Mike Vrabel was participating in a fight and was at the bottom of the pile with a bloody nose. I mean, he's out of his mind. In an unsurprising act of bigotry by the Trump administration under the direction of Trump, this was done in Florida. They removed the rainbow crosswalk, serving as a memorial to the mass shooting at the Orlando club, Pulse. The Pulse, remember it was the largest mass shooting in history, but we've had more. I mean, every other week. So they removed it, and in the middle of the night. DeSantis ordered it, and within hours, volunteers began coloring the rainbow colors. Oh my gosh, that is hysterical. No, it's a pretty rainbow. The Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, sent a letter to all 50 states and Puerto Rico, urging them to comply with his Safe Roads Act, eliminating distractions on non-freeway, it's affecting my brain, the beast thing, freeway roads. I mean, that's a lot of bullshit. You know why? If they really care about safe driving, they would take the licenses of every driver in the state of Connecticut. They're the worst. This was from people.com. And plus like my gay friends on Facebook freaking out over it. Did you hear Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett call Trump a piece of shit? And she said, I'm sorry. She didn't apologize because she called him a piece of shit. She apologized because the language, she wanted to use stronger language. Love, 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 love her. Trump called himself a war hero. He says, nobody cares, but I'm one too. Yeah, really, a draft dodger. Okay, love it. According to NPR, Trump wants to stop states from voting by mail. Well, I mean, I just kind of sent in my ballot to vote by mail. It's easy. I love it. And then you're done. Are we going to start like horseback riding in the streets? Like, horse and carriage? He really wants to bring us back to the 1800s. And let me tell you, we might not be able to afford cars when the tariffs start taking effect, which they're already in effect, but they're probably not going to trickle down to the customer until October. They're saying October. Get everything now. He's getting his Sharpie ready, like the one he uses to alter the weather, the hurricane paths, to sign an executive order to ban mail-in voting. Ahead of the midterms. There we go. I mean, he's something. He's brilliant at cheating. Britney Spears thinks Taylor Swift's album cover copies hers. She feels ripped off. This is a source. I don't know who the source is. Pamela Anderson also saying she was ripped off. Britney wants credit. She doesn't mind being ripped off, but just give her credit. I guess she said she used the look in 2001. I'm always supposed to remember what she looked like in 2001. In the Dream Within a Dream tour. I don't think anybody remembers. So Britney wants Swift to put her in the liner notes or something. Pamela Anderson claims that Taylor got inspired by the 2024 movie, The Last Showgirl. My gosh, everybody's nuts. Leave her alone. The price of veggies rose 40% mass. I don't care. I'm not the one to eat vegetables. I feel bad for the vegans, but doesn't affect me yet. So remember I was talking about, what was that? I was talking about quiet cracking or loud cracking, as I called it, with your job. Okay, according to entrepreneur.com, quiet firing. What's that? Like giving you less responsibility, leaving you out of meetings. So maybe if you suck at your job and they don't want to pay you unemployment or whatever, right? Employees get treated like crap so bad that they make you want to quit. I've had this happen. I'm not going to say which job, but I kind of like had that happen. But I could take a lot of crap, obviously. I had heat stroke and I was still doing it. And I got stung and I was like this with the hand and still going after people. Just rough day. Some days are better than others. What are you going to say? This was a HR study. 1,000 managers, 53% said they engage in that, quiet firing. So they remove your responsibilities. According to a LinkedIn survey in 2022, 10,000 respondents out of 20,000 experienced it. Yeah, I have to say, definitely. I mean, I don't know for sure. You don't ask me, are you trying to fire me without firing me? I mean, torture. It's quiet torture. Getting grunt work. They give you things that like to humiliate you. Things that are beneath you. Being left out of meetings. That's another one. I know someone going through this in recent memory, but not going to quit. Where are you going to go? Especially if you're over 50. Companies don't want to risk a wrongful termination lawsuit. They don't want to give you severance and probably unemployment. I know some bosses don't like to do that, but even though you pay into it, half of your taxes, right? They pay half, you pay half. So they tell you to write everything down, save your emails, and it's not illegal unless employers retaliate. Okay. So that's a tough one. Everybody's an at-will employee now. Taylor Swift said on New Heights podcast, I didn't know this, that she wasn't a great athlete. I think who cares? We can figure that out. Not good at catching the ball. Again, who cares? What does that matter? And it doesn't bother her. She said, quote, it's not my part of my metrics for my self-worth. I'd kill myself if I couldn't throw a football. She sent her brother and her mother to the private equity firm that owned her masters. Remember, she bought her masters back. Instead of lawyers, she sends her mother and her brother. And saying it was her personal experiences. That's why she wanted it back in every phase of her life. And then she got the call a month later and dropped to her knees. And she said, I'm in the business of human emotion. She's so smart. That's why we buy all her CDs. That's why we download everything. That's why we pay all this money to go to her concerts. That's why we remember every word to her songs and we feel it, because she connects. She's such a good marketer. Her fans love her. I mean, look, I just got the Swiftie bracelets and, I'll tell you, it's amazing. So the new album was available on vinyl for 48 hours. She's so smart how she markets. Now her album's going to be available on cassette. Kids are buying cassettes now? I'll give you a bunch of mine when I DJ'd. Gen Z likes cassettes. That's kind of cool, though. That's what my charge card is, a cassette. That's how old I am. Albums. I got like 30 crates of albums in my mother's basement. According to CBS, the Trump administration is going to closely scrutinize. Okay, listen to this one. Quote, good moral character. How are they going to do that when not one of them in the administration has good moral character for U.S. citizenship? Okay, so a president who's a felon. And did you hear that they had an interview with Ghislaine Maxwell? And she said, I've never seen Donald Trump do anything inappropriate. He was such a gentleman. I almost choked. I mean, she's really looking for a pardon. Really, really. And she said Bill Clinton wasn't at the island. She said because he wasn't close to Epstein. So I don't know if Trump likes the Clintons now because Hillary said maybe he should get a Nobel Ooh. If I start to fade, call 911. A Nobel Peace Prize. But I think that's hysterical. They're judging moral character. According to Wallet Hub, Tennessee is among the worst states for highest crime rates. Okay, they're not sending the National Guard or the military in those states. They're coming for Boston. I mean, really, why isn't he going in the red states? There's more murders there in Kentucky and Texas. They're bad in education, healthcare, and safety. But they do have the elephant sanctuary, ranked 40th in best states to live. Of course, Mass, I told you last week, number one. Also, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and South Carolina. Oh, gosh. According to Yahoo News, Instagram, a hippo emerged calmly from a hotel pool as hotel guests looked on in horror. I thought that's cute. Maybe he was, this is the thing. We're encroaching in their habitats. And look he was hot. Listen, I wish there was a pool near me today. I wouldn't have had heat stroke, but at least I got some color. Kind of worth it. I didn't pass out. I was close. My boss was like, my manager, he's like, okay, I don't know. When I stopped talking, he thought I was going to die. And that's true because that's all I know how to do is talk, and I never shut up. The hotel was built in the animals' territory. They're losing, obviously, their habitats. And I tell you what, I saw a bobcat when I went riding my bike last week. And I was a little nervous because I don't know if they're aggressive, but it looked like it was like getting down, crouching down, ready to pounce. I just rode right by it, and he ran away from me. Thank God. Scary. I think they adapt to what we do. So the hippo just took a swim. What's the problem? I don't think, like, we're the bad ones encroaching on their turf, but he just wanted to swim. Of course, the Republicans would say, who cares that we're encroaching? Let's build some more hotels. Chick-fil-A, to end the show. Chick-fil-A in Ohio said you can't come in to eat chicken. If you're 17 or younger, you need to be accompanied by a chaperone or parent. What are they worried about? They said it's safety. I don't understand. I don't get it. I mean, what the hell are they worried about? This is bizarre. These things they come out with, I don't know. But, I mean, we used to hang around the supermarkets like on Friday nights when we were young. Can you imagine how things have changed? But, okay, now they go to Chick-fil-A. I don't know. But I wouldn't really... What, you can't get a sandwich because you're young? What if you're starving? I would just grab somebody off the street. Hey, can you just be my chaperone for a minute? What's the big deal? I don't understand. All right, guys, I made it. I'm alive. If you don't see me next week, although I think I should be able to do next Sunday. Labor Day weekend, already September coming up. Unbelievable. All right, love you guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for free. See you next week, hopefully.